Good morning. Welcome to this edition of the Lynne Hayes-Freeland Show. Well, it's May. Hold on. I'm going to come back to that in a second. We have some very interesting guests coming up a little bit later in the program. They call themselves the Brown Mama Monologues. What are they all about? Who are they? You need to stick around to find out. But we begin, now I'll come back to that May thing, because you know every May we have a primary in the state of Pennsylvania. Some of them are bigger, attract more interest than others, but bottom line is this: your vote counts in every election. Here to talk us through what's happening right now, Wallace Bright, our resident expert. Welcome back.
Good morning.
Big primary, not so much. There are a lot of races.
Yeah, there are a lot of races, and I mean, obviously the fact that, you know, the entire state house, half of the state senate, all of our congressional delegation, and we also have the governor and a U.S. senator. They're up for election this year. So there are important races that people need to concern themselves about and take this next week here to, you know, do some research and see who is the best candidate, yes, for them to vote on. All
right, let's talk about the gubernatorial race. Tom Wolf is in office.
Right.
The incumbent.
Tom Wolf, he's the incumbent Democratic governor. Out campaigning on still trying to, you know, have a severance tax on drilling companies as a way of funding our school system, really. He went into office looking for $2 billion for growing education in the state, and so far hasn't gotten quite halfway there yet, $1 billion, but that's what he's going to be campaigning on going into this year's election, and going to have a Republican opposition, potentially one of three different candidates will be running against him.
Now, who are those three candidates?
Well, okay, we have two from right here in western Pennsylvania.
Okay.
We have Laura Ellsworth, a very good attorney and a brilliant kind of manager, partner in one of the largest law firms in the world, and has done an excellent job there, and at one time also the chair of the Chamber of Commerce. We also have Paul Mango.
Okay.
Paul is a partner was a partner in a major consulting firm, and one of his areas of expertise and one of the things that he is campaigning on is reforming health care, because that's one of the areas that his consulting firm specialized in.
Okay.
The final Republican candidate, and the one that the Republican establishment seems to be supporting, is Lou Barletta.
Okay.
Lou gained his reputation as mayor of Hazleton, PA, at a point when he has now picked up the nickname Trump before there was Trump. A very, very serious opponent
Which is
of
what
immigration.
Used in his.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
All right.
Very challenging on the issue of immigration. That's one of his strong points. His other strong point, again, is, you know, he's one of those who's out to eliminate Obamacare, not just reform it. He wants to eliminate it, and has also chosen to run his campaign kind of in a manner of, you know, okay, let's go after this this situation and you know, change it up. Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Okay, go ahead.
The other person, because we got one person out of order there, is Paul Mango.
Okay.
Okay. Paul Mango also running in race for governor's office, and he is a United States senator now. Excellent businessman, owner of 2 companies, and wants to bring his business expertise into government, and he advertises on trying to run the governor's office as though he is running one of his businesses.
Okay. Now, have we seen the Republican candidates in a debate? Have we seen them together anywhere?
Yes, they've done it. Probably about 3 or 4 times.
Okay, I just missed it.
They've had debates. They've been interesting in that Mango and let's put it this way. What they've kind of done is sort of put Ellsworth to the side. She's the one with the least amount of money to spend on the race.
Okay.
Probably may not fare that well in the race. So they've sort of like pushed her to the side,
Okay.
and it's been a two-person kind of race.
I see. Okay. All right. And then Governor Wolf is running unopposed.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The battle has been on the Republican side between Mango and Wagner.
Okay, perfect. We're going to take a commercial break. We'll come back. We got more to talk about.
Right.
So don't you go away when the Lynne Hayes-Freeland Show continues.